you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I am Jimmy Murphy. Pierre, how are you, my friend?
Do you have your shovel ready?
I'm getting ready, my friend. I just hope it doesn't turn to ice. I hear the central part and southern central of United States is going to be under a lot of ice by Monday.
Yeah, they're going to get ice here where I am, no question about it. I'm actually going to be out watching games in different leagues this weekend, as far south as Florida, and we'll see how that all works out. But, yeah, all that being said, what a game between Montreal and Minnesota last night.
Wow.
Yeah, certain guys wanted to make statements. You know, what's interesting, our good friend Billy Guerin, I'm not sure he was even at the rink last night because they flashed the box where the general manager usually stays and sits and watches games in Montreal. And I saw Billy's assistants in there, and I saw Mr. Leopold, our friend Mr. Leopold. I didn't see Billy anywhere. So I wonder if Billy didn't go to the game last night.
I don't know, but, you know, let's get right into that. Let's go right to that because that is a topic I want to discuss. And as you said, we do know Billy very well. We're big fans of him as a person and the job he does. But I have to respectfully disagree with how he's handling things right now when it comes to Team USA. I don't know how, when you get a second chance to name Lane Hutson, especially after what maybe he saw from afar last night, or maybe he didn't see, but he knows about it. You don't name him to the team and you put Jackson LaCombe on. Jackson LaCombe is a great defenseman. I respect his game. But we're talking about a player right now, Pierre, who is legitimately in the Norris Trophy conversation. And I just don't know, you know, what's going on. If there's something personal there, I have no idea. But there needs to be some kind of explanation for not having him on this team.
They're mad at those two guys, Caufield and Hutson, because they didn't go to the World Championships last year.
Bingo.
So here's it's just a question. It's not a statement. It's a question. Would the same ideology go forward with players that were still playing in NHL playoff games? Because the World Championships end in May. So let's say you get to the second round, late into the second round or the third round. Would the same principles be applied to those players because they finished their playoff series and they didn't go over to Sweden last spring?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It's a question I'm asking.
It's a good question. I don't know. Like, we're going to get stuck in the past. And so he didn't go, you know, and like, I agree with you. That is a factor, Pierre. We discussed this, I believe, in the summer when that whole orientation camp list came out, right? It's a factor for sure. But you know what else is, like, you can change your mind. That's the beauty of it. And it just seems there's a reluctance to do so here.
I wanted first of all say I agree with what my partner said. Jimmy Murphy was right on that, but this is important. This is hard, you know, when you think about it. For Jones, he's not going. Seth Jones isn't going because he's hurt. That's tough because I think he merited being on the team. I really do. He didn't make the Four Nations team last year because he didn't love hockey. You could tell he didn't love hockey. He was playing in Chicago and it was no good. It was no. I was watching him. I'm like, he doesn't deserve to be on that team, but he found his passion when he got to Florida. So I'm going to give Paul Maurice and Sylvain Lefebvre and that entire coaching staff a ton of credit because they rekindled that kid's desire to play. So I feel bad for him, and that's one of the things that's being conveniently swept under the rug by all the pundits.
Right.
I feel bad for Seth Jones.
Yeah, that's a great point by you to bring that.
I think he merited being on this team. That's number one. Number two, Jackson LaCombe, and I defy anybody, the pundits who pretend that they watch. You tell me how Jackson LaCombe's played this year. He's played phenomenally well. He's played phenomenally well, and he fits with what Billy wants to try to do with that team. No question about it. So I'm not going to demean him either for being named to the team. What a magical moment for him and his family. It's awesome. But I got to tell you, like, if you don't think that Lane Hutson should be on that team, you're not watching hockey.
No.
You are not watching hockey.
And you know, the other argument, obviously, too, and they both of them scored last night, is Cole Caufield and Jason Robertson also being notable omissions there, Pierre. And I look at all three players together, right? Obviously, different position. Two of them are up forwards and one defenseman. But when you're in a short tournament like this, would you not agree that as long as they're somewhat defensively responsible, they're not going to screw up your system. You need as many game breakers as you can find because there's not much time. You can't go on a slump or anything. You need to have those clutch guys, and they're all clutch.
Yeah, no, they are. Everything you're saying is right. I just want to just pull this up because I was doing a little research before.
Good.
USA's schedule is Latvia, Denmark, Germany. If they're not 3-0 at the end of that, then they got big issues. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Those are so the biggest part, and I've been going to these events for a long time. If you're gonna win, the most important thing, and you can track it, go back to 98 and watch it all the way through to the last Olympics we had. You got to improve every day.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say you squeak by Latvia because that's going to be – they play hard and they're tough.
They do. And their goalies always play amazing.
And then you play Denmark.
Yep.
And you're not marketably better against Denmark, you got a problem. And then you play Germany. And I'm not belittling the German program, but it's not the NHL program.
No.
It's not the Swedish program. It's not the Finnish program. It's not the Czech program. And it's definitely not the Canadian program.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't go 3-0 and substantially improve in all those, you may have some buyer's remorse in terms of some of the guys you picked. But personally, I think it's really important, Jimmy, that everybody respect the guys that have been put on the team because all of them merit being on there.
Yeah.
It's just some guys merit being on there before those other guys made it, if that makes sense to you.
Mm-hmm. It does.
So,
and I think that's great that you say that too, because I do think it's kind of unfair when these guys get caught in the crossfire there, you know?
Yeah. I see people ripping on some of these guys that made it. I'm not going to.
What their fault?
Are you kidding me? They're one of the top 50 people in the world at what they do. Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. And especially, if you're working on this thing, on the TV side of it or the radio side of it or the print side of it, and you start ripping players because they made the team over somebody else, make sure you go see that person when you're in the middle of the event and tell them, I'm the guy that went after you. Don't hide.
Which you did with one Mike Modano. And you didn't rip him. You just
but you got to do that. And Mike showed the kind of person he is. But you got to do that. And what a lot of them, I can tell you this again from all the Olympics, what a lot of guys do, they hide. They hide because they'll say they couldn't get access because you can't see the players outside of the mix zone.
Okay.
And it's hard to get into the mix zone at the Olympics.
So it's like they do at the World Championship, huh? It's not like the normal press conference.
No.
Yeah.
One of the great ones.
Tough. I remember that. That was tough to do.
One of the great ones, though, one of the great press conferences, and it was Wayne that called it. It was in Salt Lake City, where Gretz went after he went after everybody. And if you haven't seen it, it was back in 2002. Okay. It's really good. Gretz goes after everybody. It's a total NHL thing.
Awesome.
And it really worked. It was so good. I was there with Bobby Mack and Gordon Miller, and we were like, whoa, this is really good. I think he'll get everybody's attention. And he did.
Yeah. Pierre, when I think about this whole thing with Hutson and Caufield and Robertson, and I get the identity that Billy's trying to build with this team, but it brings me back, and you're going to have to, I think it was 98, correct me if I'm wrong, the whole Rob Zamna thing. And no knock on Rob.
That was 1998. It was called the Ghost Roster. 1998.
Ghost roster, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is reminding me of a lot right now. And
so first of all, I'm glad you brought that up. Robbie Zamner's done a lot for hockey. Number one, Robbie Zamner was a really good player. Number two, if you're a fan of Tampa and if you're a fan of the Rangers, you'll understand. Like Robbie Zamner was a good, useful player, and he was a really diligent checker. And they wanted that. That was their ideology. So if you look at the people that built that team, it was Bob Clark, Pierre Gauthier, and Bob Gainey. Those were the major domos of that team. Clark and Gainey, very defensive-minded guys in a good way, not a bad way. And, they're obviously two Hall of Famers, tremendous careers. And Gauthier was just getting going. He was just getting going in the business, and he had never played. but he had a vision for how to build a team. He's a guy that drafted Matt Sundin first overall, first Swede ever to go first overall. So some good stuff, but they added Zamner and they opened themselves up to debate.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't work, it was open to debate, but it did work. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
And that's why if it works, they'd have been fine, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
And that's when they got in trouble.
Yeah. I just feel like, I think you told me this once, just get the best team. Don't get too caught up in the mechanics of a lineup. Just
pick the best team. Pick the best players. Brent Sutter was so good at this. I'm really surprised he's never really been involved in the Olympic process for Canada. Brent was so good at putting those World Junior teams together. I'm telling you right now, like they came out of the debacle of 2004 and they said never. Bob Nicholson, to his credit at Hockey Canada, said never again. That's not happening ever again. And so they went and got Brent Sutter, and there was no nonsense. And I'll give them credit. They won't say it publicly, but they know in 2010 when they won the Olympics in Vancouver, they used the Brent Sutter game plan from the 2005 World Junior and the 2006 World Junior because Malkin and Ovechkin were part of 2005, and then Ovechkin was and Malkin was still there in 2006. So that's what I'm just telling you.
Yeah. And
I'm surprised Brent hasn't been more involved in it because he was really quietly such a good guy when it came to that stuff. I spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
A lot of respect.
I know all those brothers are tough guys. We know that. Tough personalities.
I just think the world of the Sutters. I do.
Which one's the nicest? Is it Brent?
They're all nice.
You know what I mean.
Richie and Ronnie are nice. Brent's nice. Brian's really nice.
I was scared of Darryl. Why?
Brian's nice. I'll tell you why Brian's nice, and I hope somebody sends this to him. You can go have dinner with Brian, and he'll tell you stories till the cows come home, and you'll be really you'll have so much fun. And the next day he'll be out there pounding it hard, like just making sure that guys are ready to play. You can do the same thing with Darryl. You could do the same thing with Dwayne. They're really, really good guys. But I just have this affinity for Brent just because I got to know him really well over those international events, and I just had so much time and respect for him.
Good
and I guess I meandered, but the reason why I did it is because it's all about this selection process. That's where we're going. And I know how he picked his team for 2005, and I know that I'm not afraid to tell you, Corey Perry was life and death to make the team in 2005. He was leading the Ontario Hockey League in scoring. Like he was life and death to make the team. And had it not been for, I think, a 2 or 3 goal performance in a pre-tournament game in Winnipeg, which I think I can tell a story now. Wayne Gretzky called Gord Miller.
This was it, yeah.
And Gord was like, really? What? He's just doing okay. And I was only hearing one side of the conversation. So then Gretz says to Gord, get Perry up here. Get Perry up here. He wants to talk. This is before the game. So I say to the Canadian trainer, can you get Corey Perry up here? Wayne Gretzky wants to talk to him. I said, I'm not kidding around. Like Wayne Gretzky. So Corey talked to him. I think he talked to him in the runway there in Winnipeg on the way to the ice on the phone. And Perry ended up having a big game. He had a big game, really big game. And he made the team. And he played on the line with Bergeron and Crosby.
Wow.
But Brent held his feet to the fire because he didn't like certain things he was doing or not doing.
Well, he believed that he could be better.
And he was pushing him to be better.
Yeah.
So it was, and then you see the 06, nobody thought the 06 team was ever going to win. Nobody. I can tell you right now. And Brent wasn't sure he wanted to do it. We sat in the corner of GM Place, he and I. It was pretty cool. We sat in the corner, and one day before practice, it was really quiet, just having a coffee. And he's like, I don't know if I should have done this. I don't know, I said, I think you're going to do great. I love how intense your guys are. And sure enough, they were. I got a lot of affinity to those guys, because they're hard on it. They're lifers. They care. They want to make guys better.
Yeah.
We've gotten away from that. Hockey's gotten away from that stuff. Look at what's gone on. Like everybody's mad at the Rangers. Why are they mad at the Rangers? Because none of their early picks have panned out. Why didn't they pan out?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't develop them properly.
Yep.
Maybe they overhyped them in the media. Maybe they were writing checks that their body couldn't cash. I don't know. Same thing. There are a lot of teams like that. So it's not just the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to get back to some old time sensibility on it too.
I'd agree with you.
I get it. You got to have skill to play. I get it. But some of these skill development guys have overtaken what the old guys used to do.
Yeah. Hard work.
Yep.
Bottom line when it comes down.
If you ever, Jimmy, before you go,
I
know it's a long time ago. If you ever would have seen Chicago practice when Keenan was the coach and Daryl Sutter was his assistant.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure most people would have the appetite to watch that today.
It'd be pretty sore.
It was trust me, we played them in the final and I watched them a lot that year. That was old school. And they got a lot out. Like they went to the final, they won President's trophies, they won the Western Conference. Like they had juggernaut, they had good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Chelios was there, Belfour was there. They had the best line in hockey with Larmer, Goulet, and Roenick. Unbelievable. They had great role players, Brian Noonan, Stefan Matto. You can go down the line. They had really good, they had big guys, burly guys, Brian Marchment, the late Brian Marchment, Keith Brown. Like they had a lot of guys there. I'm telling you.
You told me, and I know it sounds crazy to people to say a sweep was tough, but you told me that was a tough sweep.
Oh shoot! If we didn't have Mario, Larry Murphy, Ronnie Francis, and Tommy Barrasso, that's not to diminish what the other guys did because they all did great. Tocchet too. I got to put Tocchet in there. Yep. We wouldn't. There's no way we sweep. There's no way. Those 4 or 5 guys just went to another level.
Good stuff. Well, before I just want to go back to the Canadians quickly, Pierre. I heard you talking with the crew on Tony's show last night with Max and Brian Wild, and I think it was Brian who referenced it, saying how Marty St. Louis felt like that game reflected the identity that this team is trying to build and form. Did you sense that as well watching it?
Yeah, and that's a great job by you for acknowledging Brian. Brian's done an amazing job on that show. I'm telling you that. I'm tickled pink to have the opportunity to work on that show after every Canadians game during the week because it's Brian does a really good job. A lot of heavy lifting. Maxie's so good. Pierre's really good, and Tony he runs the ship. He's funny. He's good. He's intense too. He got passion. But Brian, you nailed it. You nailed it on Brian. He got that from Marty, and it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. They dominated most of that game.
Yep.
And you got to give Jesper Wallstedt a lot of credit. Played really well in goal for Minnesota. Played really well.
Yeah. So that was a big win for them. I know it's it's still the middle of the season. You can't get too excited about one win, but you remember those types of wins as you go forward. Pierre, another team that got a big win, and we've been all over them in a negative way, and I want to give them props where it's due. That was an impressive win by the Ottawa Senators last night.
It was really impressive.
They needed it.
Ridley Gregg quietly is becoming a really important player for that team. He can play center. He can play wing. Right now, he's doing a lot of heavy lifting, mostly playing on Dylan Cousins and Brady Tkachuk's line. Been really good there. He had a huge assist on the empty net goal last night. I love the fact that Stützle passed it over to Brady with the empty net. I thought that was a class move by Timmy. Ridley scored a huge goal in that game to create some separation on the scoreboard. They're getting some really, like I said this morning when I was working with Alex Adams, I said the 2020 draft dominated that game. You had Sanderson playing almost 27 minutes. Okay, Think about this. Stützle getting a goal and an assist. He was a 3rd overall pick in 2020. And then you had Clevin scoring a goal, his first in almost 70 games, drafted in 2020. And Ridley Gregg with a goal and an assist, drafted in 2020. Four guys from the 2020 draft.
One game.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Amazing. So that was a much needed win for them considering everything that's been going on that team. And another team that's been going through a lot, Pierre, is starting to play, I think, some better defensive hockey, and that's New Jersey Devils. They've taken the last 5.
So credit to the coaches and the players for buying in because they're winning a lot of one goal. Well, not a lot, but they're winning some 1-goal games now. Edmonton, I'm still not sure what. I don't think any of us really know.
I'm wondering if they pull off a big move.
That's what I mean. I don't know if that's going to be the roster going forward for them. It's just there's too much inconsistency there. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right about Jersey. It's a good catch by you, Jimmy. It's absolutely, they deserve credit. Absolutely.
And Pierre, a player that you and I talk about a lot, that the Toronto Maple Leafs just let go, signs an extension with the Boston Bruins today after a great season he's had, and that's Alex Steves. Hard work paid off. Congratulations to him, but that's some good scouting by the Bruins.
Well, the biggest reason Steves ends up in Boston is because of the Fraser Minton deal. They watched Fraser Minton and watched Fraser Minton and watched Fraser Minton and kept watching Fraser Minton. And I guarantee one of the guys that stood out was Steves in the American Hockey League because of the way he could score. And I watched him in the American League and I was like, this guy can really score. Like if he could ever balance it out, because he's not going to score at the same level at the NHL as he did in the American League. But if he could balance it out and be a diligent checker, he's going to have a home somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's really good scouting by the Bruins. I give them a lot of credit on the pro side on that one because they've had some foibles, as we both know, but they should get a pat on the back for the ones they did well. And Fraser Minton was a good job. Yep. And obviously Steves was a real good acquisition.
For sure. All right. Well, I know we left a lot of questions on the table yesterday, so let's get to that. But before we do, Pierre, I got to tell us about our sponsors. Of course, we start with Vago Italian up in Montreal, where they combine old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. They're open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. They are located 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that is 514-846-1414. And, of course, our friends over at Betway, where you can still go all the way and bet those beauties with Betway. And if you haven't joined yet, you get over there right now. They got a great new membership deal going on where you get up to $300 back on your first deposit, even if you lose your first bet. So go there right now to the QR code right in front of you if you're watching, or if not, go to the website, click in the members section there and fill out your details and you'll get that deal. But you must be 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Always bet responsibly. And this offer is not available in Ontario. All right. I was not too good on my picks last night. Let's hope I can be better tonight. We're pretty much all out west with my picks tonight. Later games. I'm going to start with the New York Islanders playing in Seattle against the Kraken. Ilya Sorokin has just been unbelievable for the Islanders lately. I like them to take this one on the puck line, plus 220 value. Then the Capitals are in Vancouver. Will Adam Foote's, talk that he gave to his team and then what he told the media, will that work and motivate the Canucks to a win? I don't necessarily think so. I like the Capitals as well on the puck line, plus 154. And then the Penguins go into Calgary to face another team that's starting to trade pieces away. I like the Penguins on the money line, minus 118 value. All right, what do we got? Seamoke, Pierre from Elijah. What's up, Elijah? What's your best advice for a young player like myself to go as far as I can and who wants to be the best?
Make sure you go to the rink and have fun every day. Don't go to the rink and it's a chore and you're looking at the clock and you say, I can't wait for this to be over. You got to have passion. You got to have energy. You got to have a love for the sport. Don't be pushed around by people that are telling you got to do this, you got to do that. You know what you got to do. You got to work. And if you go there and put the work in and you have fun doing it, you got a chance to do it. But it's got to be a labor of love. It really does.
All right, next question. Hendricks that can play. If Kent Hughes doesn't find a top-tier player for Suzuki and Caufield, isn't it holding the team back a step? Because it feels like Dach and others just don't fit, and Slav is now part of that second line.
I love it when Hendricks sends this stuff in because it's pretty accurate. We talked about that last night on Tony's show. I do think they have to address that. I don't think Texier is the answer there either, but I felt that for a while. I just don't know if Kirby processes a game quickly enough to play with those two guys. They do stuff real fast. Like you look at the goal last night, the winning goal by Cole, go watch the whole part of it and just see how quickly Cole reacts to popping out in the high slot to open up to be ready for the one-timer. There are not a lot of guys that process the game that quickly, and then they get them the puck real quick, and it's in before Wallstad can even move. That's what I'm talking about, stuff like that. And just remember this. At the end of the game, when it really mattered the most, it was Phil Deneau on the ice with Caufield and Suzuki, and it was not Kirby Dach.
Yeah, Phil played a good game as well. All right, next question. Michael Maloney, Pierre, I've been asking you about Lane Hutson, the Olympic team, for months, and today I read Jones is out and they're adding LaCombe. No disrespect to him, but are you freaking kidding me? How is this possible? We've just discussed this.
Yeah, Michael, I'm kind of with you. It's a very strange.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out too.
I just think part of it is he did not go to the World Championships last year. But I will say this, he was part of 2 World Junior Championships, gold medal. I don't think USA Hockey minded that very much.
No. All right, next question. Pierre, you've spoken about Noah Dobson needing improvement in some parts of his game. Have you noticed that improvement? I find him less noticeable, which is the most positive thing for defense.
Yeah, Stefan Robidas clearly work with him. If you're watching for improvement, watch how he plays along the boards. Watch how he separates his man from the puck. He's making better reads. He's forcing guys outside rather than playing inside out. He's playing outside in. And I think the biggest thing is just his stick position. Stick positioning is a lot better. So he's improved a lot. I love that question. I think it's spot on.
All right, next question. B Right 33, Pierre and Jimmy, with Hutson having dual citizenship rights, do you think the Canadian Olympic team would have the cojones to name Hutson to Canada's team?
You can't. It's a Peter Nedved rule. Once you played internationally for a country, I think it's a 2-year waiting period. Might be 4, but Nedved was the last guy that was able to do it. Played for Czechoslovakia back then and then represented Canada in the Olympics. But that stopped. Can't do that anymore. So he'd have to wait 4 years, another cycle, and I don't see that happening.
Okay, next question. Jordan Wolf, one up. Pierre, I've heard you mention that expansion is coming. Curious if the league would prefer to have 2 new franchises coming in at once. I never liked having more teams in a conference over another.
What a great pickup. Great job. I think they're going to add 2 at the same time. It's going to be a lot like what happened with Minnesota and Columbus, and I believe it'll be a lot like what happened with Tampa and Ottawa. So it won't be a one-off. I think you'll see 2 just to have that balance. Let's just say for the sake of argument, 1 is in Atlanta. They go in the East. And let's just say for the sake of argument, 1 goes to Houston, Texas. They go west.
They become an instant rival of the Dallas Stars. There you go.
Yes.
All right, next question. Jordan Wolf again. Follow up on expansion. How does it work for the new franchises bringing in their AHL affiliate? Is there a draft for those players as well?
No, there's no draft for those players. They'll be assigned. Teams will have 50 contract limits, and then they'll sign their 50 players, and they'll send 25 to the American League. And then they'll also have East Coast League affiliates too. So, yeah, that's how it works.
All right, next question. Derek Rendell, is a Kirby Dach experiment on the first line the last attempt to fill that spot internally? Slavkovsky seems best suited with Demidov.
That Slavkovsky, Demidov, Kapanen line's tough to beat right now. I wouldn't be messing around with that too much. If Newhook came back, it'd change a lot of things. I think Newhook changes the dynamic of the team just with his speed and his ability, forecheck. But I would not be messing around with Slavkovsky right now. He's feeling it. He's playing with another type of edge, which is really good for him.
All right, next question. Juice, how big of a loss is Leo Carlsson for Sweden? That's right. And Brodin.
Yeah, there's 2 of them that's really big. It's not just Leo. It's
Jonas Brodin.
Jonas Brodin, thank you, from Minnesota. That's just so bad. That's tough. I thought the Swedes were in a really good spot. But here's the thing about Sweden. Their first games against Italy, I think obviously they should be able to beat them. But then they play Finland and Slovakia. That's a tough – of all the teams, they have the hardest schedule that are potential medal-winning teams. They have the most difficult schedule. Canada's got the second most difficult, and the Americans had the easiest. So those are 2 huge losses. I feel bad for the Swedes. I really do.
All right, next question. Vincent Yoel. Hello, gentlemen. How often do new staff have a disconnect from ownership because they don't state what their real plans are and say what the owner wants to hear just to get the job?
I don't have the scientific knowledge of that. I mean, there have been some weird things that have gone on in a lot of different cities. So,
yep.
I don't know.
All right, next question. W. Travis Mitchell. I find the Habs first line needs there's a lot of this is the common thread today.
Yeah.
Needs a spark. Everyone says don't touch the second line, but would you consider the following: Demidov, Suzuki, Slav, Dach, Kapanen, and Caufield? Small change, but it just might work.
No, I'm not breaking up Caufield and Suzuki. It's too important. Like, there's quick strike offensive capability. They play together in the power play. I'd have a hard time breaking that up. I know it's one line, it's one player, but you don't want one line, one player to affect 6 or 7 other guys. That's the problem when you start tinkering like that. It's not affecting 1 or 2 guys, it's affecting 6 or 7. That's when you start to run into problems.
All right, next question. What do we got? Renaissance. Does Dach still have any value on the trade market?
I think so. It's not in the form of a player, I think. It's more in terms of a draft pick.
Right.
But I think so.
All right, next question. Bill Van Vago, if the Habs are working so hard to find a complement for Suzuki and Caufield, why did they bother moving Slav? If Slav isn't up to snuff, will they have to trade or put Tessier, Newhook, or even Line up there? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, no, they wanted to get a solid second line.
Why they did it originally? Okay.
Yeah. Slav fits so well with Kapanen and Demidov.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can understand why they did what they did. I really can. I totally understand that. They'll find a guy to fit on the first line. They'll find it. You know, the teams, they're still one of the top 10 teams in the league. Like, there's a lot of work still to be done here, but they're playing really well. They deserve a lot of credit.
All right, next question. Mr. White, 1079. Watching Jack Hughes play since coming back from that cut, how can Tom Fitzgerald and Bill Guerin let him play in Italy for Team USA? He can't shoot the puck because of that cut he suffered in Chicago.
This is such a good point. Mm-hmm. This is such a good point. I didn't want to really go down that road, but I'm watching him play just like what Mr. White said. By the way, Mr. White, I hope you weren't my music teacher at LCC. I don't think he was.
I think it's Mr. White from Reservoir Dogs.
But you know what I mean. Mr. White was our music teacher at Lower Kent College where I went to school. And I don't know, my brother Regan had a hard time with Mr. White. So because of that, I kind of had a hard time with Mr. White. But anyways, that's another story for another show. Yeah, no, I'm watching that last night, and I agree with Mr. White. I do. I really do, Jimmy. I think at some point they're going to have to look at that.
Yeah, they do. All right.
You know, let's just say, is Cole Caufield better with 2 hands than Jack Hughes is with 1 hand?
Yes, very much so.
I think so.
Yeah. And
that's not taking any, like, if Jack wasn't hurt, I wouldn't even be having this discussion, but you can see he's not 100%.
Yeah. And that's, if he ever gets hurt again, that's it for the Devils. All right, next question. Mike Gaudette, will Philip Eriksson come to Montreal this summer?
I don't know.
All right, next question. Jerb, should embellishment become a double minor?
No, just call it. If a guy embellishes, he embellishes. By the way, just so everybody knows,
yeah,
there's a list in the NHL office.
Oh, yeah, there is.
If you're on the list, trust me,
you're going to get called.
You're going to get called, even if you don't embellish.
Yeah,
there's a list.
That call last night. On Hutson.
Okay, that was not embellishment.
That wasn't embellishment. That's just the ref got it wrong, plain and simple.
Yeah. So, and the other thing too, the ref's name is Eric Furlat, and
and he apologized, by the way.
I want to give him credit where credit's due. It takes a lot to go there and know that you made a mistake, and then you have to own up to it, and he did it. So I give a lot of credit to Eric. I respect Eric. I know people are ripping the referees today.
Yeah,
he's been doing this a long time. He's really good at it, and I watched him start at the beginning to where he is now. And he's one of the top guys in the league right now. And I felt bad for him last night. That was in a tough situation. He made a mistake.
We never see that anymore where they take the time to go apologize.
No, he went up. This is why I really would love if the league would allow at the end of the game, players have to deal with it, coaches have to deal with it, put it in a very controlled, sterile environment, and just say, we're putting the referee out there. He's going to explain what he saw. Why he made the call. Yeah. He may say, I made a mistake. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I forget what year they got rid of it, Pierre, but I know when I started off in this business, so that's like 23 years ago now, we we had like a pool reporter that we were at least allowed to have that would go over the ref after if we want, if so, if we needed it. And then they just did away with it. And it's
probably because general managers and coaches would follow the pool reporters down the room.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I was never the pool reporter, so I can't tell you.
Because of what Jimmy just brought up, I want to share this story too. I told Jimmy this story.
Yeah, I know.
But we're not saying names, Jimmy. We're not saying teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a game in Chicago. It's a big game, very important game in the Western Conference. And I can just tell you, the referee made a mistake. He definitely made a mistake. He knew he made a mistake. And in Chicago, everybody comes off at the Zamboni, and the referees, the on-ice broadcaster, the two teams go through the tunnel to their respective dressing rooms. But everybody else goes through the Zamboni door. So I'm coming out the Zamboni door, and a friend of mine's running one of the teams, and I hear him, and there's still like 20,000 people in the middle, and he's screaming and yelling at the referee, and I can hear. So I go running down the Zamboni door, and there he is, and he's going to hit to hurt, like he's going in there full bore.
He's seeing red.
He's seeing big time red.
Yep.
So I grabbed him, and I said, "You can't do that." I said, whatever it is, like I'm telling you, you're going to get suspended. You're going to get fined. This is going to be really bad. You can't just go away. Call the league tomorrow. Like I'm telling you, this is going to be really bad. And I stopped him, and he had this trance look like. And finally, I said, "Hey, it's Pierre. It's Pierre." He goes, "Oh, I lost it for a second." I'm like, "Trust me, dude, you lost it for more than a second." It was Jimmy. Of all the years, like I know that I did some cuckoo stuff too, but that's the first one.
You saved him. You saved
where
him.
I was like, oh boy, I bet you I've been like that, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a good one. Or remember Schoenfeld too, the donuts.
Well, that one was for everybody to see. Have another
right
donut.
Runway there.
That was, you know what? Donnie Koharski was a referee that he was yelling at. Donnie was a really good official.
Oh, Donnie was a great official.
He was a really good
official. Yep. I remember that. And then they had to have, I think they had scab refs in one of those games in that series.
They did.
They did. I remember that.
They wore yellow sweaters.
Yeah. That was a crazy series. Devils Bruins.
Oh, man.
All right. Next question. Dealey, 75 times 3. Is it safe for the Canes to extend Bussi? And what could that contract look like?
I think it's safe to extend it.
I would do it now before it gets even worse.
I wouldn't do like 8 years or 7 years or 6 years. I'd probably do three times 4.
Yeah.
Look at what I'd use Stolars as a gauge on that.
Yeah.
I'd use Joe Woll as a gauge on that. Those would kind of be the contracts I'd be looking to do as terms of a comparable.
Yep.
Oh yeah, kind of like that.
Right. Next question. Gabriel Lamb, is Gallagher a buyout candidate in the offseason? Unfortunately, he's slowing down.
Yeah, he is, but last night he was really good. You got to like the line that he played on with Phil Deneau and Josh Anderson. I thought that line was really good last night. Very good identity line for Montreal. They got to keep those going. I think at some point they're going to have to load manage Brendan a little bit.
Right.
The good news is that the Olympic break is coming, so that's going to be good for him. But buyout, I don't know. I don't think the Canes would do that with him.
So, yeah.
I don't think they would.
Still has value. I get.
Yeah, I don't think they will. But he's going to have to become comfortable with the load management thing.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Ethan Russell, would you recommend to someone like myself who is trying to work in hockey to try and get a summer internship? Any advice? On how to land that internship? Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I would get in touch with American League teams. I would get in touch with East Coast League teams, because they need people to work in the summers too. I did a promotional thing for one of the teams this summer, and the young lady that called me was fantastic. She was so good at her job. I thought she was amazingly professional. So yeah, that's kind of the direction that I would go. And especially, I think Ethan's in New England. There's so many teams there, whether it's Hartford, whether it's Springfield, whether, Worcester, in the East Coast Hockey League team, there's some Bridgeport, even though I know they're moving. There's a lot of teams around. Adirondack, which is not far from New England. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities there. I would look at that.
And start doing it now and get ahead of it. All right, next question. Las Papas. Hi, Pierre. 2 questions. Is a decor Montreal too good if Reinbacher pans out? And Carrier and Gooley would be 560. Is it realistic in a salary cap era? Also, is Schneider from the Rangers a good target?
Let's start with the last one first.
Mm-hmm.
I think Schneider, when he was drafted in 2020, was an amazing prospect. I think Schneider now in 2026 is not the amazing prospect that everybody thought he would be. He has not improved at all, which breaks my heart to say. He's a really competent, athletic person. He needs to get into a situation where he's going to get better. He really does.
Do you think he needs a reset? Yeah.
Yeah, he needs a reset. So that's number one. In terms of, Gooley's going to be excellent. He's going to be a 4-5. He's going to be a really good 4-5. That's where he's going to be. Carrier is going to be a 4-5. If you got both those guys 4-5, you're in a good spot. In terms of being too good, you're never too good on D. You're never too good on D.
Never have too many defensemen.
You never have enough.
Yep.
You never have enough.
All right, next question. John Flegel. Hey, boys, if Quinn Hughes goes 7th overall, not being that much bigger than Hutson, and Hutson goes 62nd overall, with better numbers than Hughes at the same age, what happened with scouting Hutson?
People were really afraid of Hudson's size.
They really were.
They really were. I'm telling you right now. They were petrified of his size. And I think the biggest thing was there's more buzz around Quinn Hughes. There just was more buzz. He grew up in Toronto and played in all the big things. His father was a development coach. His dad was an assistant coach. His dad, was working for an agency. There was a lot there. His mom was a U.S. Olympian. Like, there was a lot of profile there. And everybody knew the brothers were coming too. So there was more of even though now you see the Hutson brothers, you got Lane, you got Cole. Quinn's already gone. He's in Edmonton. But it was just different. There was just more of a buzz. There was more of a vibe. It's not saying that it was right, but that's kind of how the system worked.
Worked out for Montreal, though. All right, next question.
Never.
Daniel Guerrera. The Habs get a lot of high sticks, tripping, and hooking penalties. I know they're young, but how do you get it through to them and be more reasonable with their sticks?
Coaching.
Yeah.
Aggressive coaching. The biggest thing, and Scotty was so good at this. I hope he's watching today because I want to praise him on this. He was so good. He used to say to me all the time, make sure the guys don't practice taking penalties. If it's a penalty in practice, it's a penalty in the game. Don't let them practice taking penalties. And he was right. And so a lot of times when guys were hooking or holding, we would stop practice. No, they didn't get a penalty, but we would stop practice.
So they remembered. All right, next question. A to Z me. Are you guys a little surprised that Dach wasn't sent to Laval for conditioning?
Not really. I mean, he's a pro. He's been playing for a while. I think they probably felt really comfortable. They probably had some serious high-tempo practices with him, and they just want to throw him into the deep end and see if he could swim.
Yeah. He was practicing a lot with the team, too.
Yeah.
Until he came back. All right, next question. Puck battle. Jimmy, are Bruins buyers at deadline, or was the Anderson buzz just smoke? It was not smoke, puck battle.
No, that wasn't smoke. I give Jimmy a lot of credit. He was on that one really early, and he was spot on. The problem was that I don't think the Bruins want to eventually do the deal because Anderson wouldn't commit to a contract.
Yeah, that's it. They weren't going to do that all for a rental. The price was just too high. They're still looking. Next question. David Robinson, you guys love how Sturm's post-game comments were raw. Dallas wanted to grind and win. The Bees didn't. Also, Vegas is coming up, and they play like Dallas. Bees have to wake up. Agreed. Totally agree. All right, next question. Vincent Yoel, would you rather have on the Habs?
Habs.
I was like, on the Habs, Philip Forsberg or Steven Stamkos?
Age-wise, Philip.
I want Stamkos.
I like Steven, though. That's why I just like Steven.
I think he's a perfect fit. All right.
I like Steven.
Franco, Pierre, what are some of the most unique player pregame routines or superstitions you have encountered during your time in the league?
Corey Perry's got a couple interesting ones.
Yeah.
He kind of stands between the two benches, and I don't know what he's doing. He just kind of glares. He's got one that's unique. Yarmer Yager used to run the stairs with a weight vest. That was a bit different. Nobody was doing that back then. Yarmir would go on the ice without his skates on and pass pucks off the boards to himself. That's a little bit different. Coff had some different. Paul Coffey used to go in early and tape his sticks and then untape the stick and then tape the stick again. Yeah. There's some different ones. I don't know, guys not stepping on cracks. I did that one. That was silly. I'd walk through hotel lobbies and people would think I must have been hammered because I'd be like going all over the place. So there's so many. I wish I don't want to. I just can't remember them all, but there are a lot of them.
Yeah, goalies especially. All right, next question.
Yeah, you don't even go in their space. Stay away from their space.
Do you think Jack Guy should be in the lineup? Nobody talked to the players who hit Suzuki's hip or tripped Dobish, and Struble doesn't really compliment Hutson offensively.
I was surprised Jack Guy was out of the lineup, but I think they probably wanted to get Struble in there. They were supposed. I don't know how true this was, Jimmy. There were supposed to be some decision makers at the rink yesterday in Montreal.
What I was gonna say. I think a lot of that was showcasing.
Might have been a showcase cinema for Struble.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was a reasoning for having him with Hutson as well. All right, next question. Renaissance Resistor. Do you think a Stolarz for Yossi trade framework could work
for Toronto?
Yeah, I think they're going to need more
for Toronto. That would work really well. That would work well.
Very.
I've been pumping Yossi to Toronto for 2 years now.
I know.
So that would work.
I'm hearing people say Hamilton to Toronto. I'd be targeting Yossi over Hamilton.
Yossi over Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yossi over Hamilton.
All right. Next question. Juice, how much say do owners have when it comes to trades in the NHL?
Every situation's different.
Yep.
But owners can do whatever they want. If they want to get something done, you tell the GM. If the GM doesn't want to do it, the GM better have some cojones. Because maybe the owner will say, I'll bring another guy in.
Yeah.
The one thing that's important, though, I think most owners, when they hire a GM, they really do trust them. They really do. They wouldn't hire those guys unless they trusted them. The problem is when the owners start reading too much in the media, or the owners start listening too much to their friends at the country club or the yacht club or whatever club they belong to, and they put pressure on the owner saying, you got to get this guy out of this team and then the owner comes in and the GM's like, are you kidding me?
Right. Like, where did you get these ideas?
Yeah. Sometimes that happens, I can tell you.
Sometimes owners can get a little too emotional too, I bet, Pierre.
Yeah, look what happened with the Buffalo Bills.
Yep. I was just going to say, all right, next question. Jerb, 76 PK. What are the Sens going to do if they don't go on a run? No first-round pick. Is a big change coming?
Well, I don't know about a big change, but, yeah, they're in a tough bind. They got to keep winning. That was a big win last night. Jimmy nailed it. I know they didn't beat Montreal on Saturday, but they got points. I mean, they're putting points in the bank. Their last 5 games, they put points in the bank. They're staying relevant. Big changes? I don't think so. But the Senators not making the playoffs this year would be a major step back, I think. Major step back.
Next question. Bill Van Vago, was a World Junior line of Fedorov, Bure, and McGillney the greatest line you ever saw? Any of those Habs, Oilers, or Pens lines match that?
Well, that was an amazing line, but let me throw one at you that the Czechs had back then. Reichel, Holik, and Yager.
Oh, wow.
They were pretty good too. And Naslund and Forsberg, I think, had Sundstrom on their line back in the early 90s. That was really impressive too. So there have been a lot of really good lines in World Junior. I mean, I know Bure, McGillney, and Fedorov are, 3 Hall of Famers, so it's amazing that they were all playing in the same line. But think about Crosby, Bergeron, and Perry playing as a line. Like, there have been a lot of really good lines over the course of World Junior competition. That Russian line was obviously really good. Really.
All right, next question. Mr. White, 1079. What's the upside for Simon Nemec? He's been so clutch for Jersey as a 21-year-old, but he doesn't seem to get the same amount of rope as Luke Hughes. P.S. When are you guys coming to Montreal?
I hope sooner rather than later.
We're working on that.
We're working it.
We'll definitely there St. Patrick's Day. We know that at McLean's.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be there for St. Pat's.
Yep.
That Boston Montreal, right, Jimmy? That day?
Montreal that night.
Yeah.
Pace yourselves.
Nemec's got a huge. I think he's a top 4 guy. I think he's probably could sneak into a top 2. I don't think he's a 1, but
Yeah.
he's going to be in a 2-3. He's good. He's got good upside.
Well, he'll get more time now, unfortunately.
Oh, he's going to get plenty of time now.
All right, next question. Dealey 75 times
I don't
3.
have anything on that.
Any injury report on Eric Robertson? No, I haven't seen anything either.
I don't have anything on that. One thing I will say, though, is he's a really useful player. People don't realize a kid that played at Princeton, won an ECAC championship there. He's moved around a little bit in the league. His get up and go, like he's got a motor. He can really go. And I don't think, unless you watch Carolina all the time, you don't realize how fast this guy is. He's got a real good engine, really good engine.
Yeah, I know Sound the Siren likes him a lot. I remember him telling us. All right, next question. Puck battle is Olympic OT 3-on-3. If so, would it be worth putting a player like Caufield on the roster? Can't you dress 22 per game?
All this, Caufield measures up to a lot of things.
Well, I think you have him on there no matter what. But
No.
all right, next question. Gabriel Lamb, would Dallas consider trading Jason Robertson? I didn't think so before, Pierre, but I don't know now.
What do you think the problem is, Jimmy?
I mean, does the fact they have Rantanen and they think it makes him a little less valuable or no? I don't know.
No, that could be. I just don't know. I don't know why it's been.
Yeah,
I don't want to say it's acrimonious because Jimmy Neal doesn't make stuff personal. It's just not in Jimmy's DNA. But something seems to be
a different coach now, so we can't say it's that.
Yeah, it's not Pete.
It wasn't.
It's not. No.
I don't know what the deal is, man. I feel like he's not just like that's a great point to bring up there with the team too. He's like the Rodney Dangerfield in the NHL right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Ethan Russell, great night for Consa Helenius. What do you think his ceiling is? Yeah,
it's really interesting because he's obviously strong and physical and can make plays and probably pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty excited to see the guy play more, but it's a great way. A 3-point night's a great way to start for sure.
All right, next question. Hughes, could there be a scenario in which whoever finishes third place in the Metro could have less points than a team just outside the playoffs in the Atlantic? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially this year. All right, next question. Bill Van Vagel, when I watch Ryan Leonard play, I walk away impressed. Did he get consideration for Team USA? What is his upside?
I don't think he had any consideration for Team USA. Huge upside, pure power forward. He reminds me a little bit of Glenn Anderson. Glenn Anderson was a heck of a player. They play very similar styles. I think the world of the kid as a player. And he's just – I think the biggest thing, just keep learning. Watch what Tommy Wilson does. Watch what Ovechkin does. He's in a good situation because you get to see these guys every day. Yeah, that's really good mentorship for him.
He's got a good head on his shoulder too, Pierre. I remember we spoke to him the first year we did.
He spoke fantastic. His interview with us was tremendous.
Yeah,
it was tremendous. Absolutely.
Next question. Jerbs, rookie contracts seem to be key pieces for Stanley Cup teams. Should the Habs think twice about trading picks now when they could be a key for a Stanley Cup run in 2 to 3 years?
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to try to identify what they need to do. Everybody keeps saying the cap's going up. I don't know about that. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff going on that we talked about 2 and 3 years ago that's coming to fruition now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be interesting.
For some teams, but not all teams.
No. Exactly right, Jimmy.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
All right, next question. Mr. White again. What's your take on drafting Anton Saleyev 10th overall over Sam Dickinson, Zev Buim, and Consa Helenius?
I think give it time. I do. Yeah. It's a fair question, but give it time.
Still too early. Yeah.
I think Zev Buim's a really good player. I've watched him a ton. Jimmy knows that.
Yep.
He's far from a finished product.
No,
he's far from a finished product.
I like that they got him in that trade in Vancouver. Like that's huge.
It is, but they got work to do with him.
They have a ton of work. It's going to be a project, but they'll get there. Next question. Ethan Russell, do you think rumors coming out saying the Rangers won't re-sign Panarin and bring his value down on the trade market? How does that get into the media? I'd be annoyed if I was the Rangers GM. I'm gonna bite my tongue on all this right now.
Been a lot of leaking going on in New York for a while.
A lot. All right, next question. Sean Michael. Hey guys, huge fan of the show. What would it cost to get Stammer, and could we get Nashville to eat up some of that contract?
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised in Nashville. They might maybe take a nibble, but I wouldn't think a lot. No,
not much. All right, next question. Jerb 76 PK. Would Veleno, Deneau, and Evans be an elite shutdown line you would put up against teams' first lines in the playoffs? I think it could be.
They could very well be. I don't have issue with that one at all. That's a good comment. Really good.
All right, next question. Ethan Russell. Pierre, what was your go-to gas station to snack during your long-distance drives from rink to rink?
I like pretzels. I used to drink a lot of water, so I had the Poland Spring working.
Okay.
Depending what part of the world I was in. Drank a lot of bottled water, but I ate a lot of pretzels. I like pretzels.
All right, next question. I think that's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it, my friend. Sorry, guys, my screen just enlarged, so I can't see the usual chat there on the right.
How does that happen, Jimmy?
I don't know, because I do think I'm not good with technology. That's why, Pierre.
I had to do something today for a European entity. I started really early this morning. It's like, I hope I'm doing this right. It was all like about computing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I hope I'm doing this right.
Yeah, that's so fun. Yeah, Pierre had a long, busy day. Almost there, Pierre.
You know what? I love it. The fact that tonight, I can't wait to watch the games tonight.
Yeah.
Toronto, Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And then I'm looking at Ducks, Colorado, I think could be a good game. Ducks are playing a little better. So
they're playing really well. But, you know, Jimmy, Troy Terry's not playing. Leo Carlson's not playing. Like, they got Joel's coaching well there.
Yeah.
Dustel is going to have to play pretty substantial in goal for them.
He's been on fire too. So
the Seattle's got to get back on the rails here.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's why I went the Islanders there.
Seattle's got to get back on the rails.
We'll bring this up tomorrow, but the Islanders are an interesting team to watch as the deadline gets closer. Like, where are they? What would they be thinking?
They're still relevant. They're still a relevant team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Metro, I think most of the teams in the Metro are pretty relevant. Even Columbus, I know they lost last night, but
yeah,
they could get on a little run. Now, they don't have a lot of wiggle room. They got to make sure they get back on the train here pretty quick. But
yeah,
I think everybody in the Metro's kind of, except for, I shouldn't say except for the Rangers. Rangers going to San Jose. Their next game's in San Jose.
Yeah. Right now, the Rangers.
Would you say that if they lose that one,
oh yeah,
bodies start to move?
Yeah, I think bodies will move before the Olympic break there for sure.
I agree.
He wants to get ahead of it. Remember, they did that JT Miller deal early last year too, Pierre. Remember, wasn't that at the end of January? So
I think in order to get JT Miller, you had to do it just because everything that was going on in Vancouver.
Right.
That was painful to watch.
And we're still feeling it. All right. Well, listen, great show. Great questions as always. Thank you, Shane, for working the boards. Thanks to all our listeners and viewers. We'll be back here in the Eye Test tomorrow on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.